Okay, so this is a new style of video that I want to come out with at least once a week, where I go over some of the bigger topics that have come out over the past week. We've had some big stuff come up and come out over the course of the week, and I want to get you guys filled in. The last one I'm pretty excited for, even though there's not too much that's come out about it yet. However, I still want to cover it. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into it. I just watched Charlie's video on this earlier today, and to be quite frank with you guys, it's a big win for any content creator, artist, or musician. If you haven't already heard, the federal courts recently struck down a case involving the use of AI. More specifically, the defendant tried to say that the AI-generated files belonged to him, and he tried to use them in the court of law, which, if you know anything about that, that's not really how it goes. To give a little context as to what led to this case in the first place, the defendant Bradley Hepner, former CEO and chairman of a multi-million-dollar company, was subpoenaed by a grand jury on charges including fraud, wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and pretty much just any fraud or low-life schmuck behavior that you could think of he was committing. Well, anyway, Mr. Hepner, on his own accord and free will, decided to use an AI platform to help prepare his defense strategy. You know, because he's too stupid to try and compile something himself, or let alone ask for help. I digress. Later on, former CEO and chairman Bradley Hepner presented these AI-generated documents before the court. If you guys know anything about AI, it uses a slop pile of pre-existing things to create whatever it might be that you want it to create. So pretty much, it's the baby of everything that's publicly available that relates to what you want it to make, if that makes sense. Long story short, the courts found that Mr. Hepner had no privilege over the AI content, or in other words, he had no ownership over these AI-generated documents, therefore making them completely useless. This is a huge win for us as creators and consumers, as it pretty much shows that if a company uses AI-generated content that was created through publicly available generative AI sources, they pretty much won't have any way of copywriting said content, since it's pretty much a compilation of pre-existing content. We can only hope that this will stop or at least slow down the use of AI from big companies. Not only has AI been killing art, but it's costing people their livelihoods. Not to mention, AI-generated content is just flat out boring. The next topic is a pretty cool one, and I don't think anyone expected it, or at least not right now, and that's that a fellow YouTuber has won a spot in Congress. Fellow YouTuber Brandon Herrera has been running against the current, well, now not so current Congressman, Tony Gonzalez in Texas's 23rd congressional district election, and recently, due to some events, has pretty much secured his spot. Gonzalez has been on the forefront of major controversy that has ultimately led him to dropping out of the race and practically giving the seat to Herrera. Tony Gonzalez has been under fire for an alleged and later confirmed sex scandal with a former colleague who tragically ended up committing suicide. I'm no tin hat conspiracy theorist, but it's always strange how somebody that threatens anyone inside the government ranks, especially those with power, end up dead under mysterious circumstances. I definitely feel bad for her and her family. This case is kind of an unfortunate one for sure. Even though the whole reason that's led to Herrera's looming W has been paved with scandal and tragedy, it's going to be interesting to see how he operates in office. I completely forgot to mention that Brandon is a gun YouTuber who makes gun review videos and content that's within that niche. Quite frankly, it's probably for the best that somebody like Herrera takes over. That's one less person in Congress that's been found guilty of some sort of scandal. We'll definitely learn pretty quickly if he's the right guy for the job, as the 23rd District of Texas covers a lot of ground. It's not like this guy's joining some small local government. Maybe I'm just unk, but I remember when viewbotting was extremely frowned upon and would be the cause for immediate death by firing squad. Now it's celebrated and encouraged by one of the largest entertainment managing companies' CEO. Reed Dusher, I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right, is the CEO of Night Media, which is home to some powerhouse names such as Kai Cenat, Hassan Piker, and formerly Mr. Beast. Earlier this week, Reed went on to X and made a post encouraging the use of viewbotting. His justification is that creators are at a severe disadvantage if they aren't using the tools that are out there for them. Or in other words, cheating the system to seem more important, and in turn, bring in more and more money. A small part, a very, very small part of me understands what he means, but I think he completely missed the mark with his explanation. Viewbotting is sin. Okay, if you're viewbotting, you suck. However, it is a tough grind to get views. When you're up against seemingly large creators that are using viewbots, it puts small creators at a severe disadvantage. This, however, isn't justification for viewbotting. I think what Reed should have done instead of encouraging the use of viewbotting was speak out against its prominent use in the streaming and content creation scene. It's not like this guy's voice doesn't matter. One of his other main points was saying that Twitch's viewbot detection is pretty much so trash that you can get away with it. How about instead of encouraging the use of IRL cheat codes, you speak out against the system that makes those cheat codes desirable to use in the first place? The other issue that at least I see with this statement is if we have guys like Reed suggesting the use of viewbotting, then it makes you wonder how many of the people on his talent roster are actively inflating their numbers, or even just streamers in general. I'm not gonna lie, there are so many streamers that I don't understand who's even watching them and tuning in regularly, that it makes you wonder, maybe they're inflating their numbers. Maybe that's just the Uncanitis talking, but I am being serious. Alright, the last thing I wanted to go over with you guys was the recent announcement of Project Helix. Just yesterday, Microsoft made a post teasing the release of their supposed next console, the Project Helix. And quite honestly, it's got me super excited. I'm a big console guy. I enjoy sitting down and playing a game and not having to worry about if my PC can handle the game. Maybe I'm just a broke boy. That's not to say that I'd never buy a PC, but I just like consoles. I grew up playing them, and I've always been hyped whenever I hear about the next generation of console. Not a whole lot is known about Project Helix yet, but it's allegedly going to be a cross between a PC and a console, by having the ability to play PC games. I'm unaware if that means that it'll support Steam or just PC games. Again, there's no real definites on the console yet. I mean, the video was just put out and it was about a 5-second clip that introduced just the name. I feel like with all the speculations that are going on about it, it's like the times before the Xbox One got released and everyone had those crazy renders of those wildly outlandish looking consoles and titles saying, "Is this what the Xbox 720 will look like?" Those were the good old days, and honestly, I'm getting a little bit of that vibe from this console announcement. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what it's all about when they roll out an actual demo and video showing off the console a little bit. Well, that's going to be a wrap on today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I had a lot of fun working on the ideas for this video and doing a little bit of research. If you guys enjoyed this style of video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments what you guys want to see more of. As well as let me know any of your thoughts that you may have on the subjects that we milled over today. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good one, and as always, it's been real. Don't forget, my name's Zay, subscribe, and enjoy the stay.